Hey guys, this is Sharad here with ReSimpli, bringing you a ReSimpli user and an experienced investor, Javier Batlle, on this call. Javier, welcome to the call. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? Appreciate you
Uh,
inviting us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for coming on the call. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? What market do you invest in? And what kind of investing do you do?
Yeah, for sure. So I live and work off of San Antonio, Texas. That's where we market. That's where we invest. Primarily single family, small multifamily. Very focused on wholesaling and flipping for the most part. So yeah, that's what we've been doing for just a little bit over 2 years now.
Okay, a little over 2 years. And what's your current team size?
So it's a very lean team. I've got a cold caller, a full-time cold caller, a full-time lead manager, and then just myself, which I pretty much put the hat on off of an acquisitions manager, dispositions, right, and just managing financials and everything else in the company.
That's perfect, man. Generally, uh, lean businesses tend to be the most profitable ones. So I love that. And do you
Agreed.
mind sharing how many deals are you doing per month or per year? Totally cool if
We're
you don't
doing
feel
we're doing
comfortable.
about 2 to 3 deals per month.
Nice.
That's our average for the last year around about. So we're definitely focused on scaling. I've been doing it as a part-time thing. I do have another full-time job as of right now, but we're focusing very heavily on transitioning full-time into the
Nice.
business. So
That's
yeah,
amazing, man. To be doing two to
yeah,
three deals a month part-time, that's incredible. Congratulations on that.
takes a lot of time, but yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, you
about
say
it.
part-time, but it's like having two full-time jobs,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said you're doing cold calling. What other marketing channels are you using in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing cold calling, we're doing direct mail as well. In the past, we used to do SMS. We've tried PPC as well, but mainly our two sources right now are direct mail and cold calling.
Got it. And how long have you been using ReSimpli for in your business?
Since ever since we started,
Okay.
thankfully we had the guidance of a good mastermind that I joined when I started the business that referred us to ReSimpli, and I say thankfully because I know the other options out there, and yeah, I've just grown used to it. Honestly, I think it's a very well-rounded, all-inclusive system for the business. So,
Thank you,
yep,
man.
ever since we started, yeah.
Yeah, so you've been using ReSimpli since the beginning. Did you consider any other software? If you did, what were the reasons you chose ReSimpli over other software?
To be blunt with you, Sharad, we did not consider anything else. I kind of gathered all the feedback and all the suggestions that people in this mastermind made whenever I joined, and it was very, very clear that ReSimpli was the best tool out there, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was an easy choice. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It's the best software out there, and it's only going to get better every day. Do you mind sharing what mastermind you're part of
Yeah,
or are still
yeah.
part of?
It was CCF with Ryan
Oh
Dawson.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
he's been absolutely amazing. He shares so much information in that mastermind. So you've been with us for 2 years. How was your onboarding process for you and your team when you started with ReSimpli?
Yeah, so when I started, it was just myself, and my way of conducting anything, job, business, whatever, right, is just trying to delve into the tools that I have first before trying to teach other people how to use them. So I got very heavily into ReSimpli, trying to understand all the modules, trying to see the training videos, right? Asking for other people's advice who were already using it. So it was really me just deep diving into the different modules, right? The lead module, the list stacking module, the data module, and everything else, right? And just understanding how everything came together because I was also new to the industry, right? I was broadly understanding the industry and how this is more so a lead gen marketing type of company, right? And how working those leads through the CRM, right, through the different stages and everything else was how we conducted business. So that was my experience, just deep diving into it, getting into the nitty gritty and understanding the things you could customize,
Mm.
how you customize marketing, marketing campaigns, right? How you have a different number for each type of campaign if you want to track them separately. So yeah, that was
Right.
how I got very heavily into the tool, was just deep diving into it. And yes, I did make a bunch of mistakes at first, right? That I then had to backtrack, but it was just getting really deeply into it. And I think all the resources out there with training videos, with the support channel that you guys have, and everything else was very helpful.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity to use live Zoom calls that we
I
recently
I
launched
try
a
to
couple
be
of?
on those every so often because of my W-2. Sometimes I just don't have the bandwidth or the time at that specific time of the day, but I do join them from time to time.
Right. Yeah, and we have recordings of those also. So if you want to ever go back and watch them. So you've been investing for about roughly about 2 years, and you're in an ultra competitive market in San Antonio and Texas. Would you say REsimpli has helped you achieve your goals from when you started like a couple of years ago to what you're doing right now?
I think it is, and I can say it definitely has, and the reason for it is because I know some people try to penny pinch at the beginning, right, and try to save here and there on this little tool here and there. But if I did have to choose the one tool that I would use from the get go, right, is a CRM like ReSimpli, and just because it lets you run the business like a business from the get go, right? Even if you're bootstrapping, if it's just yourself, understanding KPIs, right? What your cost per deal is once you start averaging out, right? 6, 8 months into the business, right? It kind of gives you more confidence, right? In spending marketing dollars, understanding, yeah, what your deal cost is, right? How you're doing as far as conversion, how many leads are becoming actual contracts, right? How many appointments you need to go to actually land a deal. So that that I think is super useful. And then just organizing, once you start getting a lot of leads, right, and you have 2 years worth of leads that are starting to resurface, right, because some leads just take years to nurture, right, and get into
Yeah.
contracts. Just that ability to organize everything into the way ReSimpli does it is very helpful, because if not, I'm pretty sure I would have lost deals
Absolutely.
that have resurfaced after many years, right, and
Yeah.
probably just would have deleted that spreadsheet if that's what I was using back in the day, right? And that's the end of it, pretty much.
Are there any deals that you can think of that you closed because of, using ReSimpli because you were organized?
For sure. I mean, there's there's always deals, people that are very lukewarm at best when they come in, right? And yeah, you work them, you kind of understand what their motivation is, but the ability to use drip campaigns, for example, right? I did have just last quarter, I think we closed in 2 or 3 deals that were
Nice.
very old, probably from time that I started the business, right? But just because the drip campaigns helped me stay on top of mind with these people, right? They eventually just called me, "Hey, I'm ready now," right?
Yeah.
Just last quarter after having started 2 years ago. So I can definitely say that yeah, with the CRM
Absolutely.
and we simply have helped us in that way, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Yeah, drip campaign is such a powerful feature. Speaking of
Indeed.
feature, what's your favorite feature in ReSimpli that you love using?
I don't know if it'll be most people's favorite, but like the financial aspect of it,
Oh, I love
that's
that.
my
Yeah.
background. That's my background in
Oh, you're
financial management.
speaking my love language. I used
Yeah,
to be an accountant, so I totally understand that. Yeah.
yeah, but that's the thing, man. I mean, once you start getting into the hang of it, right, and you start closing a good amount of leads, and you start gaining some traction, if you don't like, and especially that we flip properties as well, right, and in the market that we're in right now, you kind of, if you're just managing everything through a spreadsheet, you think you're making profit on deals, right? But if you're not accounting for everything, right, if you're not keeping your books up to date and everything else, you really don't have a very clear picture as to how your business is doing, right? So to me, that's super important. I do work with ReSimpli and with the bookkeeping service that you guys offer, because that's the only way that I eventually, with my full-time job and everything else, it was the only way that I could keep the books up to date and not be delayed many months, right? But I think that's a very powerful thing. Apart from, and the other thing I would say would be the KPIs module, right?
Right.
Understanding, giving you the confidence of knowing, hey, I closed 1 out of 40 deals, 30 deals, right? Every lead that comes in, you're getting just one lead closer to that next
Yeah.
contract, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. I think it's such a, you said it earlier in the call, when you really look at real estate investing business, it's really a marketing business. And in order for you to succeed, it's so important to understand your KPIs, to understand your financials. So you know exactly where to spend your marketing dollars on. If you can gain efficiency in marketing dollars, you're going to have such a huge advantage over other investors in the market that don't have such a good understanding. So I 100% agree with you. That's my favorite feature also is the bookkeeping, the accounting part of it, because that's how I like to make decisions based on the numbers. So Javier, you've been investing for 2 years. I want to kind of ask about another year, 2 years, or 3 years down the road. What's your future goal in terms of number of deals? Where do you want to take your business, and how do you see REsimpli playing a part in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I already mentioned that we are working towards me being full-time in the business by the end of this year. So we're really pushing for this quarter and next quarter. So we close the year very strong on as far as deals goes. Just with the deal flow that we have right now, I honestly feel confident in making the jump. But then again, there's always that if factor, right? I think like I was saying, the just knowing my KPIs, right, that gives you a lot of confidence of knowing, hey, if I spend X amount of dollars in marketing, I know I'm going to get the deals that I need, right? Even in a tough market, in a competitive market like San Antonio, right, or Texas in general. I feel that that's the very biggest thing about REsimpli is it keeps me true to the numbers, right? Instead of how I feel, right, or if I get bogged down one day or another. If I'm just seeing KPIs, right, I know that I don't know, I fielded 5 to 10 appointments last week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a contract out of those, right? Because
Right.
that's what my KPIs are telling me. So that I feel is the biggest part for me is just that confidence in knowing the numbers and having the numbers up to date. I honestly I'm a very firm believer in keeping companies lean as well. I don't see myself with a huge team, but maybe adding the only person I would eventually add down the line would be an acquisitions manager so that I can work on the business as well as in the business, right? Fielding appointments is normally what takes you the most time out of your day, right? Especially
Right.
as you're growing, and especially that we try to field appointments in person as best as we can. So that's what I foresee 1 year out, 2 years out, right? Is being full time in the company, maybe getting that next person in as an acquisitions manager who's fielding appointments for me, and that way I can focus a lot more on the business, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, good luck in that goal and congratulations on all the success you've had. And I hope by the end of the year, you're able to commit full time to real estate. That's going to be exciting. Finally, what would you say to someone who's listening to this and is on the fence about using REsimpli in their business?
I would say, I mean, don't think about it too much. Especially if you're starting out in your business. I think it's a very wise choice that you start with REsimpli from the get-go because transferring any amount of data or old leads that you have whenever something else doesn't work for you is going to be probably leads that you're going to lose out on. I know it's a tiered system as well. You can add things along as you go, right? So maybe start with a lower tier if or the entry level tier if you're bootstrapping it, because I know that's important in the beginning. But I honestly, I've seen other CRMs that people have used. I've never tried any other ones, but everyone I know that was using something else has eventually transferred over to REsimpli. So I would say consider anything else that you want, but if you want to start out the best way possible, just start from the get-go with REsimpli because you won't regret it.
Awesome. Thank you, Javier, for that. Javier, if someone listening to this wants to connect with you, learn more about your journey, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, sure. I think the best way is just through our website. It's www.sell2pivot. Pivot Properties is our company name, so pivot.com. And honestly, that's it. Not big
Cool.
on social media. You can reach out to my email as well. It's javier@sell2pivot.com. And yeah, anyone
Cool.
anyone who wants to connect, that's the best way.
Awesome. Thank you, Javier. Thank you so much for your time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.